You know exactly why you clicked this. You didn't click because you need another tip. You didn't click because you need a new app, or a new planner, or a new morning routine video with aesthetic lo-fi music and a perfectly poured cup of matcha. You clicked because you are sick of your own voice. You are sick of the liar that lives in your head. You are sick of the gap, that massive, terrifying, screaming canyon between who you know you could be and the person who actually stares back at you in the mirror every morning. Let's be honest about that morning. Let's look at the first 30 seconds of your day. The alarm goes off. Maybe it's 6 a.m. Maybe it's earlier. Last night, the you of yesterday made a promise. Last night's you was motivated. Last night's you was going to change everything. Last night's you set that alarm with the absolute conviction of a warrior preparing for battle. Tomorrow, you said. Tomorrow is the day I stop drifting. Tomorrow is the day I execute. And then the morning comes. The room is cold. The bed is warm. Your brain, that 3-pound lump of biological survival instinct, starts whispering. It doesn't scream. It whispers. Just 10 minutes, it says. You need to rest. You can start tomorrow. You've had a hard week. And in that split second, before your feet even touch the floor, you lose. You hit snooze. You negotiate. You break the contract. You look at the ceiling and you know, deep down in your gut, that you have already failed. The day hasn't even started, and you have already surrendered to comfort. This isn't about waking up early. This is about the fact that your word means nothing, not even to you, especially not to you. If a friend lied to you as much as you lie to yourself, you would have cut them out of your life years ago. If an employee missed as many deadlines, broke as many promises, and performed as poorly as you do for your own life, you would fire them without hesitation. But because it's you, you tolerate it. You accept the apology. You believe the excuse. I'll do it later. I'm not feeling it right now. I'll start on Monday. Monday comes. Monday goes. And you are exactly where you were last week. Think about the sheer volume of time you have incinerated. Not wasted, incinerated. Burned at the altar of comfort. You sit there with your phone in your hand, scrolling through the highlight reels of people who actually did the work. You get a hit of dopamine just from watching them. You feel a vicarious sense of accomplishment because you watched a video about working out, or you read a tweet about building a business. You feel like you're part of the club, but you aren't. You are a spectator in the Colosseum, watching the gladiators bleed while you stuff your face with cheap entertainment. You have potential. That's what people tell you, right? You have so much potential. You wear that label like a badge of honor. You shouldn't. You should wear it like a scarlet letter. Potential is just a nice word for hasn't done anything yet. Potential is stored energy that is currently rotting. Every day you don't convert that potential into kinetic energy, into action, into reality, it spoils. It turns into regret. It turns into bitterness. It turns into that low-level anxiety that hums in the background of your life, the static noise that you try to drown out with Netflix and video games and substances. You are intelligent. That's part of the trap. You are smart enough to visualize a better future, but you lack the discipline to build the bridge to get there. So you live in the fantasy. You are an architect who draws beautiful blueprints, but never lays a single brick. You live in your head, where you are already fit, already rich, already respected, already disciplined. But look at your hands. Look at your bank account. Look at your body. Look at your daily habits. The reality doesn't match the fantasy. And the dissonance between those two worlds is tearing you apart. You feel it, don't you? That specific heaviness in your chest when the sun goes down. The day is over. The hours are spent. You look back at what you produced. Not what you consumed, what you produced. And the answer is terrifyingly small. You were busy. You were occupied. But you were not effective. You moved papers around. You answered emails that didn't matter. You cleaned the kitchen to avoid writing the proposal. You did everything except the one thing that would actually move the needle. You proactively distracted yourself because the work, the real work, is scary. Why is it scary? Because the real work requires you to kill the part of you that loves comfort. It requires you to be dangerous. And right now, you're not dangerous. You are safe. You are predictable. You are harmless. A disciplined human being is a dangerous force of nature. They are an unstoppable object. They don't negotiate with their feelings. They don't care if they are tired. They don't care if the motivation has dried up. They do what is required. They are a machine in a world of feelings. And that terrifies you. Because to become that, you have to admit that everything you are right now is not enough. You have to admit that your excuses are lies. You have to admit that the reason you aren't where you want to be isn't the economy, or your parents, or your genetics, or your lack of time. It's you. It has always been you. You are the saboteur. You are the anchor dragging along the seabed. You are the one locking the cage and then crying about being trapped. This video isn't going to be nice. I'm not here to tell you that you're doing your best. You aren't. I'm not here to tell you to be kind to yourself. You've been kind to yourself for years, and look where it got you. Soft, weak, full of excuses. It's time to stop being kind and start being true. It's time to look at the rod of your potential and decide, right now, if you are going to let it consume you, or if you are going to cut it out. We are going to dismantle the psychological mechanisms that keep you small. We are going to expose the addiction loops that you mistake for personality traits. But first, you have to sit in this feeling. Don't scroll away. Don't check the comments. Feel the weight of the time you have wasted. Feel the embarrassment of your own lack of discipline. Let it burn. Because that burn, that is the only fuel that is going to get you out of this hell you've built for yourself. You wanted the truth. You wanted to know why you're stuck. It's because you are addicted to the comfort of your own failure. It's familiar. It's warm. It's easy. Dangerous discipline is cold. It is lonely. And it is the only way out. You are an addict. You don't think you are. You look at the junkie on the street and think you're different. You think because your drug of choice isn't a needle or a bottle, you're clean. You are wrong. Your drug is potentially more dangerous because it's invisible. Your drug is comfort, and you are high on it right now. Let's look at your Sunday night. You know this ritual. You sit down with the notebook. Maybe it's a new app. Maybe it's a whiteboard. You start mapping out the week. Monday, gym at 6 a.m. Deep work at 9 a.m. Read 20 pages. No sugar. You write it down with a specific type of aggressive penmanship. You color code it. You look at that schedule and you feel a rush. A physical wave of satisfaction washes over you. You feel productive. You feel like a champion. Stop. That feeling, that is the first hit. Neuroscience calls it premature dopamine. Your brain is rewarding you for the simulation of success, not the execution of it. You got the chemical high of being disciplined without lifting a single finger to actually be disciplined. You tricked your biology. You ate the dessert before you even looked at the vegetables. And because you already got the reward, your brain has zero incentive to actually do the work when Monday morning rolls around. You are addicted to the fantasy of who you are, not the reality of what you do. Now let's look at the learning phase. You have a project. You want to start a business, or learn a language, or get fit. So what do? You consume. You watch a 20-minute video on the perfect workout routine. Then you watch another one on optimal nutrition. Then you read a thread on the best tech stack for startups. You do this for 3 hours. You tell yourself, I am researching. I am preparing. I am being smart. No, you are procrastinating. This is productive procrastination. It is the most insidious form of comfort addiction because it masquerades as work. It feels like work. It looks like work. But it is just you hiding from the terror of the blank page. It is you hiding from the pain of the first rep. You are terrified of being bad at something, so you study how to be perfect at it forever. You are building a mental museum of skills you will never use. A dangerously disciplined person doesn't wait for the perfect plan. They act, they fail, they adjust. You plan, you research, you wait, and you rot. Then comes the friction point. You finally sit down. You finally open the laptop or put on the running shoes. You start the task. And for the first 4 minutes, it's okay. But then resistance. The sentence doesn't come out right. The code breaks. Your lungs burn. The boredom sets in. The dopamine tap runs dry. And what do? Watch your hand. Watch it move. It happens on autopilot. Your hand reaches for the phone. You don't even decide to do it. It's a reflex. You unlock the screen. I'll just check notifications. I'll just change the song. I'll just look up this one thing. And 45 minutes vanish. You just sedated yourself. The moment the discomfort hit, the moment the actual growth was about to happen, you anesthetized your brain with a hit of digital morphine. You scrolled. You swiped. You watched a cat video, or a political argument, or a meme. You reset your focus to zero. You think. You just took a break? No. You just trained your brain that discomfort is a signal to quit. You are Pavlov's dog, and the bell is the slightest twinge of difficulty. And then there is the arbitrary start time. You look at the clock. It's 2:13 p.m. You messed up. You were supposed to start at 2 o'clock. So what do you say? I'll start at 2:30. I'll start at 3 o'clock. I'll start tomorrow. I'll start on Monday. You are constantly negotiating with a terrorist. You are setting terms for your own surrender. You think there is something magical about the top of the hour? You think the universe cares if you start at 2:13 or 2:30. No, that is just another hit of comfort. That is you buying 17 minutes of guilt-free laziness. You are looking for the perfect conditions. I need the coffee to be hot. I need the house to be quiet. I need the mood to be right. Dangerous discipline is the ability to perform in chaos. It is the ability to start at 2:13 p.m. with cold coffee and a headache and get the job done anyway. You are waiting for the stars to align. The dangerously disciplined person reaches up and rearranges the stars themselves. You are trapped in a loop. The high of planning, fantasy. The safety of research, procrastination. The pain of action, resistance. The escape to comfort, relapse. The guilt, withdrawal. The new plan, relapse. Round and round you go. Months pass. Years pass. You get older. The potential gets heavier. And the pattern digs a deeper trench in your neural pathways. Every time you complete this loop, you are pouring concrete over your feet. You are solidifying your identity as a dreamer, not a doer. This is why you feel tired all the time. It's not physical fatigue. It's the exhaustion of carrying around the dead weight of your own broken promises. It is the energy drain of constantly fighting a civil war in your head. Part of you wants to conquer the world. Part of you wants to take a nap. And right now, the part that wants a nap is winning the war. You think you need motivation? You don't need motivation. You need detox. You need to break the addiction to the easy way. You need to understand that the pain you are running from is the only thing that is real. The comfort is the illusion. Let's kill the biggest lie you've ever been told. The lie that is keeping you broke, weak, and stagnant. The lie is this: I need to get motivated. You are waiting for a feeling. You are sitting there, right now, waiting for the clouds to part and a beam of golden energy to strike you in the chest. You are waiting for the right vibe. You are waiting to feel like working out. You are waiting to feel like writing the report. You are waiting to feel like cleaning your apartment. And because you are waiting, you are dying. Motivation is not a strategy. Motivation is a biological trick. It is a fleeting spike of dopamine designed to get you to reproduce or hunt. It is not designed to help you build a business, sculpt a physique, or master a skill over a decade. Motivation is a fickle, unreliable friend who promises to help you move house, drinks all your beer, and then leaves when the heavy lifting starts. You treat motivation like it is the fuel. It is not the fuel. It is the spark. You cannot drive a car across the country on sparks. You need an engine. That engine is discipline. And right now, you don't have an engine. You are standing in the driveway, striking matches, wondering why you aren't moving. Let's look at the anatomy of your failure. You watch a video. You hear a speech. You read a quote. You get that rush. Yes, I'm going to do it. That is the spark. You start. You work for 2 days, maybe 3, and then, inevitably, the spark dies. The chemicals fade. The alarm goes off on day 4, and the feeling is gone. You feel tired. You feel bored. You feel heavy. And because you think you need the feeling to do the act, you stop. You say, I lost my motivation. No, you didn't lose anything. You just ran out of the cheap drug you were using to mask the difficulty of the work. Here is the uncomfortable truth about the people you admire. The elite athletes, the billionaires, the masters. You think they wake up every day excited to grind? You think Michael Phelps wanted to get into a cold pool at 4 a.m. every single morning for 20 years? You think a CEO wants to look at spreadsheets for 12 hours a day? Wrong. They hate it just as much as you do. Maybe more, because they do it harder. The difference is, they have severed the connection between their feelings and their actions. They don't ask themselves, do I feel like doing this? That question doesn't exist in their operating system. They ask, is this what needs to be done? If the answer is yes, they do it. You are acting like a child. A child does what they want to do. A child eats the candy because it tastes good. A child cries when they have to do homework. A child requires a parent to force them to brush their teeth. You are an adult physically, but psychologically, you are a toddler. You are still waiting for mommy, in the form of motivation, to come and make you do the right thing. You are negotiating with your own comfort. I'll do it when I'm in the mood. Grow up. The world does not care about your mood. The market does not care if you were feeling it when you wrote the code. The weights do not get lighter because you are having a bad day. The only thing that matters is the output. Did you do the work? Yes or no? When you rely on motivation, you are giving your power away to your biology. You are saying, I will only be successful if my brain chemistry aligns perfectly. That is slavery. You are a slave to your own fleeting emotions. Dangerous discipline is the ability to look at a task that you absolutely dread, a task that makes your stomach turn, a task that bores you to tears, and execute it with clinical precision. Not because you want to, but because you said you would. You need to invert the equation. You think. Motivation action. The reality is action motivation. You don't think your way into right action. You act your way into right thinking. You force the body to move, and the mind follows. You drag your carcass to the desk. You force your fingers to type the first sentence, and suddenly, the resistance breaks. But you never get there because you are waiting for the feeling to come before you start. Stop asking yourself how you feel. Your feelings are irrelevant. Your feelings are lies. Your feelings are trying to keep you safe, warm, and mediocre. Ignore them. Step over them. Treat your lack of motivation not as a reason to stop, but as a signal that you are about to do something real. If you only work when you feel like it, you will never build anything that lasts. You will build a half-finished life, a pile of started projects, a graveyard of good intentions. Be the person who does the work while kicking and screaming internally. Be the person who shows up with a migraine, a broken heart, and zero sleep, and still delivers. That is dangerous. That is power. And that has absolutely nothing to do with motivation. You think you are fighting laziness. You think you are fighting a lack of willpower. You are wrong. You are fighting something much older, much deeper, and much more powerful. You are fighting millions of years of evolutionary biology designed for one specific purpose: to keep you safe, average, and alive. Your brain is not designed for success. It is not designed for greatness. It is not designed to write symphonies, build empires, or sculpt a Greek god physique. Your brain is a survival machine. Its only job is to make sure you survive until tomorrow to reproduce. And in the eyes of your biology, safety looks a lot like doing exactly what you did yesterday. This mechanism has a name. It is called homeostasis. Think of a thermostat in a house. You set it to 70 degrees. If it gets to 68, the heater kicks on. If it gets to 72, the AC kicks on. It fights constantly to return to the baseline. Your life has a baseline. Your income, your weight, your habits, your level of focus. They are all set to a specific temperature. And the moment you try to change that temperature, the moment you try to become dangerously disciplined, your internal thermostat panics. Let's look at exactly what happens when you try to change. You decide to wake up at 4:30 a.m. You decide to run 5 miles. You decide to work for 4 hours without your phone. For the first day, you might do it. But then, your biology wakes up. Your basal ganglia, the primal part of your brain responsible for habits and patterns, sends a distress signal. Alert! We are burning too much energy. We are uncomfortable. This is not the routine. This is dangerous. And what happens next? Your brain floods your system with cortisol, stress, and withdraws dopamine, pleasure. You physically feel bad. You feel anxious. You feel an overwhelming urge to stop. You think this is lack of motivation. No, this is your body trying to drag you back to the baseline. This is your biology screaming, "Get back in the cave. It's safe in the cave." You interpret this resistance as a sign that maybe this isn't for me. You interpret the pain as a stop sign. I'm too tired. I'm too stressed. I need a break. That is not you talking. That is the thermostat. That is the biological imperative to be mediocre. Because mediocrity is safe. In the wild, the animal that stands out gets eaten. The animal that conserves energy survives. Your DNA is screaming at you to be average because average kept your ancestors alive. But you don't live in the wild anymore. You live in a world where average means broke, unhappy, and invisible. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Success is unnatural. Discipline is unnatural. Focus is unnatural. To be dangerously disciplined, you have to declare war on your own physiology. You have to understand that every time you feel that pull to go back to sleep, every time you feel that urge to check your phone, every time you feel that hesitation to speak up, that is your biology trying to save you from a threat that doesn't exist. You are fighting a phantom. When you sit down to do deep work and your brain starts itching for distraction, that is an energy conservation tactic. Your brain consumes 20% of your body's metabolic energy. Thinking hard is expensive. Your brain hates expensive. It wants cheap. It wants habit. It wants you to scroll Instagram because scrolling costs 0 calories. Deep work costs expensive glucose. Your brain is literally trying to budget your energy by making you stupid. You have to manually override the system. You have to be the pilot who turns off the autopilot and flies the plane through the storm manually. Most people never realize this. They think their feelings are intuition. They think, my body is telling me to rest. Wrong. Your body is lying to you. Your body is a lazy employee that wants to get paid for doing nothing. If you listen to your body, you will be overweight. If you listen to your feelings, you will be broke. The dangerously disciplined person feels the thermostat kicking in. They feel the heat. They feel the resistance. And instead of backing down, they lean into it. They recognize that the discomfort isn't a sign something is wrong. It is the only sign that something is finally going right. You are rewriting your baseline. And rewriting code is painful. You are literally physically restructuring your neural pathways. You are tearing down the old highway and building a new one while traffic is still moving. Of course it hurts. Of course it's exhausting. Stop treating the resistance as an enemy. Treat it as a compass. If it's easy, you're drifting. If it's hard, if your brain is screaming, if you feel that friction in your chest, that is the signal. That is where the growth is. You have to look at your own biological impulses and say, I hear you. I know you're trying to save me, but we aren't trying to be safe anymore. We are trying to be dangerous. And then you do the work anyway. You force the thermostat to break. You set a new temperature, and you hold it there until the new baseline is set, until the unnatural becomes your new normal. Stop trying to be happy. Happiness is a terrible fuel for work. Happiness makes you complacent. Happiness tells you that everything is fine, that you are enough, that the world is a gentle place. It isn't. You have been sold a soft, pastel-colored version of motivation called positive visualization. You know the drill. Close your eyes. Imagine the big house. Imagine the bank account. Imagine the applause. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. Rubbish. When you visualize the reward, your brain releases dopamine as if you have already achieved it. You get the chemical satisfaction of the win without the sweat of the war. You relax. Your blood pressure drops. You feel good. And a relaxed soldier is a dead soldier. You don't need positive visualization. You need the opposite. You need shadow fuel. Look at the most dangerously disciplined people in human history. Look at Michael Jordan. When he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, the highest honor in his sport, he didn't stand there and talk about love and light. He spent 20 minutes settling scores. He brought up the high school coach who cut him. He brought up the guys who froze him out in his rookie year. He brought up reporters who doubted him. Decades later, with billions in the bank and 6 rings on his fingers, he was still fueled by the burning, toxic, beautiful coal of spite. He didn't win because he loved the game. He won because he hated the idea of anyone else being better than him. He invented enemies just to feel the rush of destroying them. That is the shadow. You have this fuel inside you right now, but you are wasting it. You are trying to be mature. You are trying to let it go. You are trying to forgive and forget because some self-help book told you that anger is bad. Anger is only bad if you let it consume you. If you channel it, if you compress it, it is a nuclear reactor. Think about the last time someone disrespected you. Think about the teacher who said you weren't smart enough. Think about the ex who looked at you with pity when they left. Think about the boss who passed you over for the promotion. Think about the family member who makes those little passive-aggressive comments about your little projects. Do not forgive them. Not yet. Take that memory. Take that specific, sharp feeling of humiliation. And instead of pushing it down, pull it up. Put it right in front of your face. When the alarm goes off at 5 a.m. and you want to sleep, don't think about the sunrise. Think about them. Think about the smug look on their face if you fail. Think about proving them right. Does that make you uncomfortable? Good. I'll show them. That sentence has built more empires than "I love myself" ever will. Spite is a renewable energy source. Motivation burns out in an hour. Spite can last for 80 years. But there is a fuel even more potent than spite: the fear of mediocrity. Stop visualizing your success. Start visualizing your failure. I want you to vividly imagine the version of you that doesn't change. Meet the you of 10 years from now. They are still in the same apartment. They are 10 pounds heavier. Their skin is gray from bad food and blue light. They are still talking about what they are going to do. They are bitter. They are jealous of their friends who moved on. They look at the mirror and they see a coward. They see a person who had the time, had the resources, had the youth, and flushed it all down the toilet because they were scared of being uncomfortable. Look at that person. Smell the stale air in their room. Feel their regret. It tastes like ash. That person is not a fiction. That is the default setting. That is exactly where the conveyor belt of your current habits is taking you. If you do nothing, you become that person. Does that scare you? It should. It should terrify you to your bones. Use that terror. When you are tired, run from that future. When you want to quit, remember that quitting is a vote for that person. You aren't running toward a trophy. You are running away from a death sentence. The dangerously disciplined person is not running on good vibes. They are running on the absolute, primal refusal to be average. They look at the herd, grazing, slow, safe, destined for the slaughterhouse, and they feel a physical revulsion. I will not be that. You need to tap into your dark side. The part of you that is aggressive. The part of you that wants to dominate. The part of you that has an ego. Stop suppressing it. Stop trying to kill your ego. Weaponize it. Your ego wants to be the best. Fine. Tell it that to be the best, it has to work harder than everyone else. Your ego hates being looked down on. Fine. Tell it that the only way to get respect is to be undeniable. This isn't about being a bad person. It's about being a complete person. You are trying to drive a car with only the gas pedal, desire, and no engine, aggression. You need both. Take the chips on your shoulder and build a castle with them. Take the stones they threw at you and build a monument. Let the hate, the fear, and the doubt be the heavy, dense fuel that burns slow and hot. Be fueled by the darkness until you are bright enough to not need it anymore. You are not just lazy. You are chemically castrated. Look at your hand right now. If you are watching this on your phone, you are holding the castration device. If you are on a computer, it is sitting right next to you, screen up, waiting. It is blinking. It is buzzing. And every time it does, you obey. Like a trained dog hearing a whistle, you snap to attention. You have destroyed your own attention span. You have taken a blowtorch to your dopamine receptors. You think you have ADHD? Maybe. Or maybe you have just spent the last decade training your brain to demand a new stimulus every 15 seconds. You cannot read a book because a book doesn't have a notification badge. You cannot sit in silence because silence doesn't have an algorithm feeding you content. You have become a dopamine junkie. Let's look at the mechanics of this addiction. Your brain has a baseline for stimulation. When you scroll TikTok, check Instagram, watch porn, and eat sugar all at the same time, you are spiking that baseline to the stratosphere. You are flooding the system. Then, you try to do work. You try to write. You try to study. You try to build a business. But real work is boring. Real work is slow. Real work does not give you a shiny reward every 6 seconds. Real work is a flat line. And because your baseline is so high, that flat line feels like torture. It feels like death. Your brain panics. Where's the hit? Where's the lights? Where's the noise? So you quit. You tab out. You pick up the phone. You check the stats. You check the email. You check the news. You get the hit. And the work remains undone. You are trying to run a marathon with a broken leg. You are trying to be dangerously disciplined with a brain that has the impulse control of a toddler in a candy store. You need to understand something. Focus is the new currency. In a world of distracted zombies, the person who can focus for 4 hours straight is a god. They are a superpower. They can achieve in a morning what takes you a month. But to get that focus, you have to embrace the one thing you are terrified of, boredom. You have demonized boredom. You treat it like a disease. The second you feel bored, standing in line, sitting on the toilet, waiting for the microwave, you pull out the phone. You plug the gap. You never let your brain rest. You never let it reset. Do you know what happens in boredom? Creativity, problem solving, self-reflection, the quiet voice of your ambition finally getting loud enough to hear. By killing boredom, you have killed your own genius. You are drowning out the signal with noise. To become dangerously disciplined, you must undergo a violent reset. We call this the dopamine fast. This isn't a trendy diet. This is a reset of your biological hardware. It means stripping away the cheap thrills. No social media, no video games, no junk food, no binge watching. You need to stare at a wall. Literally. Sit in a chair. Put the phone in another room. Turn off the music. And just sit there. For the first 10 minutes, you will be fine. At minute 20, you will feel the itch. You will reach for a pocket that is empty. At minute 30, you will feel anxiety. Your brain will scream. It will tell you that you are missing out. It will tell you that this is stupid. It will tell you that you need to check something for work. Do not move. Let the wave crash over you. Let the withdrawal symptoms hit. You are detoxing. You are lowering the baseline. You are teaching your brain that it does not run the show. You run the show. When you strip away the high-stimulation garbage, suddenly, the boring work becomes interesting. When you haven't looked at a screen for 24 hours, writing a report feels like a relief. When you haven't eaten sugar for a week, an apple tastes like candy. You are recalibrating your sensors. The dangerously disciplined person guards their attention like a fortress. They do not have notifications on. They do not keep their phone in the bedroom. They do not let the outside world intrude on their deep work. They are unreachable. They are ghosts. You are too accessible. You are an open door. Anyone can walk into your mind at any time and take a dump on your carpet. A text from a friend? Your focus is gone. A breaking news alert? Your anxiety is up. A random email? Your plan is derailed. Stop being a public park. Start being a vault. If you cannot sit in a room alone with your thoughts for an hour, you are not free. You are a slave to the device in your pocket. And slaves do not build empires. Slaves do what they are told. Reclaim your brain. The next time you feel the urge to check, look at your hand. See the invisible strings. And cut them. Let yourself be bored. Let yourself be quiet. In that silence, you will find the focus that makes you dangerous. You treat your emotions like they are commands from God. You wake up feeling sad, or tired, or anxious, and you immediately bow down. Oh, I feel bad. Therefore, I cannot perform. This is the logic of a victim. This is the operating system of a loser. You have confused experiencing an emotion with obeying it. Let's look at the most dangerous people on the planet. Special forces operators, trauma surgeons, high-altitude rescue teams. Do you think they don't feel fear? Do you think they don't feel exhaustion? Do you think they don't miss their families or feel the crushing weight of pressure? They feel it all, more intensity than you will ever know. But they have mastered the art of emotional detachment. They have installed a firewall between the feeling center and the action center of their brains. When a surgeon is deep inside a chest cavity and an artery bursts, do they panic? Do they say, "I'm feeling really overwhelmed right now. I need a moment"? No. Their heart rate might spike, but their hands do not shake. They don't react to the fear. They react to the problem. They become a machine. Bleeding detected. Clamp required. Execute. You get a rude email and your whole day collapses. You have a fight with your partner and you skip the gym. You feel a little bit of imposter syndrome and you abandon the project. You are a leaf in the wind, blown around by every chemical fluctuation in your bloodstream. You need to stop being a human being and start being a biological machine. This sounds cold. It is. It has to be. To be dangerously disciplined, you must view yourself in the third person. Stop saying, "I am tired." Start saying, "The body is reporting fatigue." Do you see the difference? "I am tired" is an identity. It claims the feeling is who you are. The body is reporting fatigue is data. It is a status report from a piece of equipment. When you view your fatigue as data, you can make an executive decision. Acknowledged. The equipment is running at 60% capacity. Proceed with the mission anyway. You are the pilot. Your body and your mind are just the plane. Sometimes the plane shakes. Sometimes the engine sputters. Sometimes the turbulence is violent. But the pilot does not let go of the yoke. The pilot does not start crying and walk back to the passenger cabin. The pilot flies the damn plane. You spend hours psychoanalyzing your reluctance. Why am I procrastinating? Is it childhood trauma? Is it fear of failure? Who cares? While you are busy playing therapist with yourself, the competition is taking your market share. While you are cuddling your inner child, the dangerously disciplined person is doing the work whether their inner child is screaming or sleeping. You need to sever the link. Input: heavy workload. Feeling: stress/anxiety. Action: do the work. See, the feeling is still there. The stress exists. The anxiety exists. But the action is independent of it. This is the ultimate freedom. When you realize you don't have to feel good to perform elite work, you become terrifying. You become unstoppable because nothing can stop you. Depression? You work. Heartbreak? You train. Fear? You execute. People will call you robotic. They will say you are suppressing your emotions. Let them talk. They are the ones crying in the corner because life got hard. You are the one carrying the boat. You can process the emotions later. You can cry in the shower after the workout is done. You can panic after the presentation is over. But in the moment of execution, you are cold. You are void. You are a vessel for the task at hand. Stop waiting to feel ready. You will never feel ready. Stop waiting to feel confident. Confidence is a byproduct of action, not a prerequisite for it. The next time you feel that heavy, sticky resistance, that voice saying, "I don't wanna," don't argue with it. Don't try to pump yourself up. Just acknowledge it. The machine is complaining. Good. Let it complain. Then put your head down and force the machine to move. Your feelings are just weather. They pass. The work remains. The results remain. The glory remains. Do you want to be a statue that stands through the storm? Or do you want to be the debris that gets washed away? Be cold. Be clinical. Be dangerous. Here is the price tag nobody showed you. You want to be elite? You want to be dangerously disciplined? Fine. Get ready to be lonely. You think the hardest part of this journey is the waking up early. You think it's the cold showers or the deep work. It isn't. The hardest part is the moment you walk into a room full of your oldest friends and you realize you have absolutely nothing to say to them. This is the isolation tax. Let's play out the scene. It's Friday night. The old crew is going out. They are doing what they have done every Friday for the last 5 years. Drinking the same cheap beer, telling the same war stories from high school, complaining about the same bosses, and numbing the same existential dread. And you say, no. You say, I have to train tomorrow. Or, I'm working on something. Watch their faces. They won't just be disappointed. They will be offended. They will look at you like you just insulted their mother. And then, the sabotage begins. It's subtle at first. Come on, just one drink. You're always working. You've become so boring. Live a little, man. They aren't trying to have fun with you. They are trying to drag you back down. This is the crab bucket effect. If you put one crab in a bucket, it can climb out. If you put a bunch of crabs in, the moment one tries to escape, the others will grab its legs and pull it back down. Not because they want to escape, but because they cannot stand to see one of their own succeed where they have failed. Your discipline is a mirror. When you start getting in shape, your fat friends feel insecure. When you start building a business, your lazy friends feel exposed. When you stop drinking, your alcoholic friends feel judged. You don't have to say a word. Your mere existence becomes an accusation. Your improvement forces them to ask the question they have been avoiding. Why aren't I doing that? And because that question hurts, they will try to destroy the thing that is causing the pain. You. They want the old you back. The old you who was broke. The old you who was out of shape. The old you who validated their bad habits by participating in them. That version of you made them feel comfortable. The new you? The dangerous you? You make them feel inadequate. So they will try to sabotage you. They will offer you the cake when they know you're on a diet. They will text you late at night when they know you're sleeping. They will make jokes about your little project. They will call you obsessed. Let me be clear. Obsessed is the word the lazy use to describe the dedicated. If you want to ascend, you have to be willing to leave people behind. You have to be willing to be the villain in their story. You have to be willing to look at people you have loved for years and realize that they are anchors. They are not bad people. They are just sinking. And if you hold on to them, you will drown with them. You are going to go through a period of extreme solitude. You will look at your phone and it will be silent. You will spend Friday nights alone with a book or a barbell. You will feel a deep, aching loneliness. Do not panic. This loneliness is not a defect. It is a filter. It is the universe clearing out the dead wood to make room for new growth. You are shedding a skin. The people who fall away were never attached to you. They were attached to your mediocrity. They were attached to the role you played in their script. You are moving to a new altitude. The air is thinner up here. There are fewer people. That is the point. You don't see crowds at the summit of Everest. You see dead bodies and the few who were crazy enough to climb. You have a choice. Option A. You lower your standards to keep your friends. You stay in the warm, comfortable, crowded bucket. You keep the peace, and you kill your potential. Option B. You accept the solitude. You accept that you might walk this path alone for a year, or 2, or 5. You accept that you will be misunderstood. Dangerous discipline requires a circle of 0. Eventually, you will find new people. People who are also climbing. People who push you instead of pulling you back. But you will never meet them if you are still clinging to the ankles of the people who want you to stay small. So when they say, "You've changed," don't apologize. Look them in the eye and say, "Yes, that was the point." Pay the tax. Walk alone. It is the only way to the top. Let's talk about hell. I don't mean the fire and brimstone version. I don't mean the religious afterlife. I mean a very specific, very real place that exists in the architecture of your own mind. There is a definition of hell that should haunt you every time you close your eyes. Hell is meeting the person you could have been. Imagine this scenario. Imagine you are at the end of your life. You are old. You are frail. You are lying in a hospital bed, listening to the beep of a machine. You are alone. The room is sterile and cold. And in your final moments, the door opens. Someone walks in. They look familiar. They have your face. They have your eyes. But they are different. They walk with a posture you never had. They have a calmness you never found. They have scars from battles you were too cowardly to fight. They have lines on their face from laughing at jokes you never heard and smiling at victories you never won. This person is the you who didn't quit. This is the you who woke up early. This is the you who took the risk. This is the you who sat in the boredom, who endured the pain, who sacrificed the comfort, and who built the life you only dreamt about while you were scrolling on your phone. And they don't say a word. They just look at you. They look at you with a mixture of pity and disappointment. They are the living, breathing evidence of your own waste. They are the ghost of your potential. And as you look at them, you realize the magnitude of your crime. You didn't kill anyone. You didn't rob a bank. You did something worse. You murdered your own greatness. You slowly, methodically, day by day, suffocated the person you were meant to be. Every time you hit snooze, you were choking them. Every time you chose the easy path, you were starving them. Every time you said, "I'll do it tomorrow," you were burying them alive. You think your lack of discipline is a victimless crime? Look at the ghost. They are the victim. Now pause. Look at your life right now. You are haunted. You feel it, don't you? That low-level hum of anxiety. That feeling that something is missing? That is the ghost screaming from the other side of the mirror. That is the superior version of you banging on the glass, trying to get out. You try to drown the sound out. You buy things. You eat things. You watch things. You try to numb yourself so you don't have to hear the screaming. But it never goes away. Because deep down, you know the truth. You know that you are capable of more. And the gap between what you are doing and what you could be doing is the exact measure of your suffering. Regret is not a feeling. It is a mathematical calculation. It is the difference between expected outcome, what you were capable of, and actual result, what you settled for. Right now, that gap is widening. Every single day that you choose comfort over discipline, the gap gets bigger. The ghost gets further away. The possibility of becoming that person gets smaller. There is a terrifying concept called the event horizon. In physics, it's the point of no return around a black hole. Once you cross it, not even light can escape. You are pulled into the darkness forever. In life, you have an event horizon too. There is a day coming. You don't know when it is, where it will be officially too late. The business opportunity will be gone. The health will be irreversible. The relationship will be dead. The chance to be elite will have passed. You are drifting toward that horizon. You are floating on a raft of excuses, telling yourself you have time to turn around. I'm still young. I have plenty of time. Next year will be different. You are lying. You are drifting closer to the edge every second. The dangerously disciplined person lives in constant fear of this ghost. They run from it. They work so hard, train so intensely, and focus so deeply because they are terrified of arriving at their deathbed and having to introduce themselves to a stranger who lived their life better than they did. They want to arrive at the end, look in the mirror, and see exactly the person they aim to be. They want the two images to overlap perfectly. No gap, no ghost, just peace. You have a choice right now. You can keep feeding the ghost of regret. You can keep building the monster that will torment you in your final hours. Or you can decide to become the ghost. You can decide to merge with that superior version. You have to mourn the time you have already lost. Cry about it. Scream about it. It's gone. You burned it. But you still have the time that is left. Do not let the ghost become your nightmare. Make it your blueprint. Every action you take from this moment forward is either feeding the regret or feeding the discipline. Which one is it going to be? Because one day, the door will open, and you will have to look that person in the eye. Make sure you can stand the sight of them. This is the end of the line. We are done talking. We are done analyzing. We are done with the feelings. Now, we are at the funeral. You need to understand something fundamental. You cannot fix the person you are right now. You have to kill them. The version of you that clicked on this video, the one addicted to comfort, the one who negotiates with alarm clocks, the one who is terrified of their own potential, that person is not going to make it. They are too weak. They are too soft. They are too compromised. You cannot improve that person. You have to execute them. This is the death of the old self. You are standing at a crossroads. There are two paths, and you have to choose one right now. Not tomorrow. Right now. Path A, the slow rot. You close this video. You feel a little motivated for 10 minutes. You say, that was intense. Then you open Instagram. You check your messages. You go to sleep at the same time. You wake up and hit snooze. You tell yourself you'll start next week. And nothing changes. You stay in the warm, comfortable bath of your own mediocrity until the water turns cold and you die full of regret. You become the ghost we talked about. That path is easy. It is crowded. And it is a tragedy. Path B, the dangerous ascension. You decide, in this second, that the person you were yesterday is dead. You mourn them. You say goodbye to their habits. You say goodbye to their excuses. You say goodbye to their friends who hold them back. And you step into the fire. This path is lonely. It is painful. It is exhausting. But at the end of it, you are free. You are powerful. You are the person who looks in the mirror and sees a killer, not a coward. If you choose path B, here is your operating system for the next 24 hours. This is not a suggestion. This is a mandate. 1. The contract of the alarm. Tomorrow morning, the alarm goes off. You do not hit snooze. You do not lay there for 1 minute. You physically launch your body out of bed. The moment your feet hit the floor, you have won the first battle. If you hesitate, you lose. If you negotiate, you lose. You are a soldier answering a call. Move. 2. The digital fast. For the first 60 minutes of your day, your phone is off. Not on silent. Off. You do not let the world vomit its problems into your brain before you have even brushed your teeth. That hour belongs to you. It belongs to your body, your mind, and your mission. If you touch that screen before you have done the work, you are a slave. 3. Eat the frog. Identify the one task you are dreading the most. The one you have been pushing to tomorrow for 3 weeks. Do it first. Before the coffee. Before the email. Before the noise. Stare into the abyss of that task and attack it. Destroy it. The rush of dopamine you get from killing that monster will fuel you for the rest of the day. 4. Embrace the suck. At some point today, you will want to quit. Your brain will say, "This is too hard." You will feel that familiar pull toward the couch. When that happens, I want you to smile. That feeling is weakness leaving the body. That feeling is the old you dying. That feeling is the exact moment you become dangerous. Do not run from it. Lean into it. Say, "Good. This means I'm doing it right." You are going to slip. You are going to fail. You are going to have days where the old you tries to crawl out of the grave and take the wheel. When that happens, you don't beat yourself up. You don't spiral. You reset. You look at the data. The machine malfunctioned. Reboot. Continue. Discipline is not a destination. It is a daily war. Every single morning, you have to reconquer your territory. Every single night, you have to defend your borders. You now have the tools. You know about the dopamine trap. You know about the shadow fuel. You know about the isolation tax. You know about the ghost. You have no more excuses. Ignorance is no longer an option. You know exactly what is wrong with you, and you know exactly how to fix it. The only variable left is action. I don't want you to like this video. I don't want you to comment beast mode. I don't want you to share this with a friend so you can feel like you did something. I want you to close this window. Put the phone down. Look at the wall. Take a deep breath. And then go do the thing you are terrified of doing. The old you is dead. Long live the new you. Now get to work.